Hello Canucks fans and welcome back to Quads Instant Reaction right here on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. My name is David Quadrelli. I'm the managing editor over at CanucksArmy.com and the editor-in-chief of the Nation Network. This is Instant Reaction, so if you're familiar, Instant Reaction is my series over at CanucksArmy.com where after every game I give my instant reaction to the Canucks game. It's up moments after the game. It's a place for you to go comment on the game with other Canucks fans in our comment section, and it's up right away, right after the game. So this is my attempt, instant reaction. I'm kind of transforming it a bit into a bit of a YouTube series here where I'll give my instant reaction to Canucks news. Now, I'd already filmed one of these today, but here's another one. Unedited, unfiltered, just one take, my opinion on the Canucks moves and really the Canucks news of the day. Like I said, I already did one today on the Tanner Jeannot suspension, but there was a trade. Anytime there's a trade, I got to do it. So I'm going to break it all down. Let's get into it. Let's actually start with Tanner Jeannot, who gets a 3-game suspension from the NHL for his hit to the head of Brock Boeser. I think they got this right. I think the 3 games is appropriate. Brock Boeser is going to be out with a concussion, as reported first by Patrick Johnson over at Post Media, but Brock Boeser is going to be out for at least a week, it would seem. So it seems fitting that Tanner Jeannot, in a perfect world, would miss as much time as Brock Boeser misses, and hopefully it's only a week for Boeser. So 3 games feels appropriate for Tanner Jeannot. I think the thing that separated this in the eyes of the Department of Player Safety was that this was one that could have been avoided. This was a hit to the head that could have been a hit to the chest. It was a hit to the head that could have been a hit to the shoulder of Brock Boeser. Boeser wasn't really in a position to defend himself. He was in a vulnerable position, and look, hits to the head happen sometimes in hockey. It's a fast game out there, and especially at the NHL level, sometimes contact to the head happens. I think what separated this one, and the reason it's not 1 or 2 games or just a fine, is that Jeannot had a chance to change course and he intentionally lifted up his shoulder and went into Brock's chin. And I think that's the big thing that separates it, at least for me and for the NHL Department of Player Safety, who pointed out that this was one that could have been avoided. You can throw a hit, you can throw big hits, but you have to make sure it's to the chest or through the core, as they said in their explanation video. The second piece of news of the day, Daniel Sprong. The Canucks trading Daniel Sprong back to the Seattle Kraken for future considerations. Now, this was one that I think caught a lot of people off guard, aside from the fact that it came on a late Friday afternoon, which is when the Canucks like it, and most NHL teams, when they like to dump some of their news that they don't really want people to talk about. Most sports media are clocked out at that point, so you don't have too much discussion. All the radio shows are done for the day. They're not back till Monday. By Monday, there's going to be games to talk about. There's going to be a lot to talk about by Monday. But, and I mean, I'm susceptible to this too. On Canucks Conversation today, we didn't touch on any of this because our show goes live at 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Little plug there, but let's get to this trade. Daniel Sprong to the Kraken for future considerations. GM Patrick Allvin didn't have much to say in the statement. He thanked Sprong for his time in Vancouver. Wasn't much time at all, but thanked Sprong for his time in Vancouver and said that he was part of why they had a good start. So, some nice words from Allvin, but not a lot of words for Sprong, who appeared in 9 games. His Canucks career comes to an end after 9 games. He has 1 goal and 2 assists through those 9 games. He was a healthy scratch at times this season. I'm surprised. I must say I'm surprised that the Sprong experiment, I'm not surprised it didn't work out, but I am surprised that they're deciding that, yes, it's not going to work out this early into it. When Sprong signed in Vancouver, the thing we heard from both player and coach was that, yeah, this is going to be a work in progress. Sprong wanted to find a long-term home in the NHL, and he sounded committed to working on his defensive game. Tocchet knew that they were going to have to work with him, and that just didn't happen. Sprong scores in his first game as Canuck against the Calgary Flames. He was in the top 6 for that game, and basically since then has just seen his minutes be totally dwindled. And again, I don't know if I feel too bad for Daniel Sprong, unfortunately. The thing is your defensive game is the thing that's held you back your entire career, and yeah, you had a few major defensive gaffes early on in the season. And again, it's 9 games for Sprong, and we've seen just not only just not knowing where to go on the ice sometimes, and that's what I'm talking about when I say defensive gaffes, but also just like not moving your feet or not putting in the effort to get back on the back check. Those are things that are going to stand out and make a coach's patience quickly run out. That's happened to Sprong throughout his entire career. It happened pretty early in Vancouver, and Tocchet, Allvin, the Canucks deciding that the Sprong experiment is over. Let me know your thoughts on this one. I'm surprised by the timing of the trade, but I'm not surprised that it didn't work out in Vancouver for Sprong. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm curious to see what everybody has to say. And make sure you check out CanucksArmy.com and Canucks Conversation, the show I do 5 days a week alongside Harman Dayal of The Athletic. Make sure you check out CanucksArmy.com for everything you need. Lineup notes, rumors, reports, news, whatever you want to call it, editorial. We've got it all over at CanucksArmy.com. Thanks for watching, folks. Leave a like. Make sure you subscribe to the Canucks Army YouTube channel.